I thought that I was poor. So I grew up with my single mother. My parents got divorced when I was 6 years old, and my single mother of 3, she worked the overnight shift at a Lipton tea factory making minimum wage. And there was like my aunts and my uncles and my grandparents, and we all lived in this one, all lived in this like one house. Like in the summertime, during when it was really, really hot, we'd all sleep in the living room because it was the only room with the air conditioning. So on top of being poor, we had food stamps and government assistance. I was a free lunch kid. And on top of all of that, there was a lot of drugs and abuse in my family as well. And the way that I escaped a lot of that was I got really involved in community service. And through the community service, my youth group was going to Haiti. So I had this opportunity. I'd never been on vacation a day in my life. We went camping a couple times, but that does not count. And my youth group was going to Haiti. So I made this sign. We didn't have money to go, but I heard I could fundraise. And I said, send Katie to Haiti, and I raised money to go. My whole life turned upside down, obviously. It changed. I learned crazy statistics. Things like, 88% of the world lives in a developing country. And I realized that I was actually one of the world's richest people. And everything changed for me. I had to do something. So I was the first person in my family to go to college. Thankfully, I had a scholarship from Bill Clinton. Thank you, Bill Clinton, for service awards. And when I graduated, my first job out of college was working for an international aid organization that sent me to Liberia. So you know a little bit about Liberia from last year. And when I got there, I'm like a big kid myself, so my job was running adult literacy programs, but I loved to play with children. So I made friends with all these street kids, and we're drawing, donkeys in the sand, and I'm like throwing their naked children in the ocean. They don't have bathing suits. And we would spin and spin and spin, and we'd fall on the ground, and I looked at these children, and I said, if you could have anything in the entire world, what would it be? And over and over and over again, these children were saying that they just wanted to go to school. Now, I never really liked going to school growing up, so I was like trying to figure out why. And there was no free school in Liberia at the time, and I realized that if kids were not in school, they had to work all day. And little girls who had to work all day were extremely high at risk of being sexually exploited. So I had a salary, so I started putting a few kids in school, then it turned 7, and then their friends, they would bring me more and more kids, and there were so many kids that I didn't have enough money to put them all in school, so I started putting their stories on social media. It was MySpace, which was cool at the day, back in the day. And people were like wiring me money to Liberia, and I was using this money to put the kids in school. And this New York City tax attorney was volunteering in Liberia, and she said, Katie, you really need to start your own organization. And I went to my best friend. I remember being like, I'm scared. Where am I going to get the money? We grew up poor. I don't have a master's degree. I didn't go to an Ivy League college. Who am I to start my own organization? And my best friend looked dead at me in the eyes, and he gave me the best advice that anyone's ever given me in my life. He said, Katie, get over yourself. It's not about you. I have to play that over and over again in my head, even right now. I play it in my head. Get over yourself, it's not about you. So that's where the name More Than Me came from, which is the name of my organization. So what we've been able to do, the president of Liberia, who spoke here last year, she's a Nobel Peace Prize winner. She's a little bit intimidating. I'm very out there, and she's very quiet and presidential. And we're sitting next to each other. She invited me to her house, and I'm sitting in her gazebo, and she said, I heard about your work here. And she said, thank you for your service to my country. And then she gave me this building. She said, we were looking for a school building because the schools in Liberia were so bad. We're like, we put our kids in the best school we possibly could find, and they were still, the teachers were illiterate, the kids were being abused, so we had to get our own school. So I'm like, well, thank you, President Johnson, for this building. How am I going to fix it? And the way that we had been funding the organization is through social media and cool guerrilla social media campaigns. In the beginning, it was really hard. I was actually using couchsurfing.org, sleeping on couches. I had no salary for 2 years. And I actually donated my eggs on the Upper East Side to families who couldn't have babies, and that was my initial funding to start this organization. So we won a bunch of Facebook contests. We won money from Microsoft, and then Ford, we won $10,000, and then Chase $25,000, and then we were on national television for a $1 million contest. And I never thought that I had a chance to win this. There was organizations with $10 million budgets, and then there was me, and I was the last female finalist, and I won $1 million on national television. So that was last year, and I went back and I fixed this building up with our team, and the building is now This building, we now have the best school in Liberia. Our kids we're using an international standard. We actually use the core curriculum. Working with the Ministry of Education, we're leaping our girls 2 grade levels forward. And we address every single aspect of getting a girl to school. It's not just the academics, it's the whole girl. And we are about outcomes for our students, not just numbers. The numbers matter, and we have monitor and evaluation woman who works with us. So I wanted to end with this story of this little girl, Abigail. She kept jumping in front of the camera saying, Auntie, Auntie, take my picture, take my picture. And I did, and then she said, Katie, Aunt Katie, will you help me go to school? I said, of course we're gonna help you go to school. So we put her on this list of kids, obviously hundreds of kids waiting to go to school, and then she had gone missing. And when she was missing, I went to her community and I said, where did she go? And they didn't really care. It was just so matter-of-factly that she was gone. And I came back here and I'm fundraising, talking about her, and people were, uncomfortable with her story. And I got so upset, I ended up writing this poem, and it's called She Is My Promise. So I am back on this bathroom floor again. And it's the middle of the night again, and flashes of your face keep me up again. It's you, Abigail. You have stained my soul. Is it a street worker? Is it a sex worker? You tell me, what is the politically correct way to say that my 11-year-old friend Abigail is a war-orphaned prostitute? Yes, this $2 hooker. This child, she opens her legs to men so that she can stay alive, and right now I'm not sure if she's alive. And when I think about her, I don't have the words to describe. My friend Abigail is missing. She is gone. She is nowhere to be found. And when I call her name, nobody knows her. Her community tells me matter-of-factly that she's vanished. Her country shushes me. It's not good for their reputation. My country tells me it's not polite to talk about her. Here she is the blame of a corrupt government in a country that people know nothing about. Here she is just another abstract thought that would never cross someone's mind on a line to purchase a cup of coffee that costs more than she would make selling herself for one day. Here she is just another Facebook cause that people might check they like because it's trendy or because it's easy. She is the bottom of the earth to a world that has been brutal to her, that has beat her up and raped her in ways that people who can read would never be able to pronounce. Now this small child is gone. And I've promised her that I would come and find her, and I can't. So I'm up again, on this bathroom floor again, and it's the middle of the night again, and I need to scream her name. Abigail! Where are you? I'm trying to find you. I haven't forgotten you. I am struggling to find words to talk about you. People here are offended by you. Disturbed by you. I am too. You keep me up at night, and I hope that you always do. You are my vow, my promise. I'm coming to get you.